Yo, coming at you for a real estate video. I'm not doing the whole setup. I'm on vacation, but I'm still going to put out content. And I am Ryan McGough, the bodybuilding businessman and entrepreneur. When I talk about real estate, I have this video recently that I put out that I'm in a car driving back from the embassy of Brazil to sign documents for two closings, right? And I'm like sick, I'm tired, I have no color in my skin, I'm freaking out. I almost lost these houses twice. All of it, man. And one of these was a house that I was gonna move into on a flip. It was a flip, it is a flip, and it's one I'm gonna move into when we come back. So we've rented out our house in Virginia, and we're gonna move into this next house. So we are living here in Brazil with our stuff in storage, right? And so, whenever anybody sees, I guess, the transition that people make and all of that, they're just thinking that it was easy or it wasn't a challenge. And I'm a believer, sometimes you got to put yourself on that island to see who you become if and when challenges pop up that rock you to the core, right? And so it's wild, it's all about that identity. And I'm not somebody who's gonna mess up and let my family not have somewhere to stay, right? I mean, of course, anytime anybody buys a house and they sell their old one or something could happen. Your final inspection, there could be water everywhere. There's always things that can happen, and you're on your own. You don't have anywhere to go, right? There's a situation that happened that prevented you from moving into the house, or there's a delay, something like that, right? So these things happen. It's not the end of the world, but for me, I'm not going to allow that stuff to happen. I'm not going to allow those challenges to defeat me, right? Now, with that being said, we were going also from being a company that flipped one house per quarter, right? That did 4 flips last year, for example, and a few wholesales and some other types of stuff. We have one that's just a long project that's taken forever to finish, just septic issues and stuff like that. But other than that, we've been a company that's just doing one at a time. So this year, getting around the right people, getting around bigger rooms, raising more money, focusing on raising money as much as I am on the project itself, right? We were just focused on the project. So when we'd win it, we'd have to go raise the capital, get the loans. Now we have relationships with 250 lenders and brokers, and we just kind of send things out and see what comes back. And so having those relationships and building those relationships is what allowed us, one, to have the type of loan terms that we have now, where we don't have any we don't have to pay any monthly payments, right? They're all interest only, and they're paid on the sale of the property. So one was we needed to change our loan so we didn't have as much holding costs, right? Because that would 3 properties, let's say a mortgage of $4,000 per month, it's going to be $16,000 per month. So if we can roll that into the sale of the property, into the flip, now we can flip more houses at a time, right? We also need better relationships with contractors. We can do some things and send our team out for some things, but realistically, we're probably not going to have three groups of people in 3 places that are internal employees that are having to stay there, right, on our dime. Or so our transition had to be into some more contractors in that area, because we can't move people around either. So all of these things had to happen to be able to flip 3 houses at a time, which we grew through. We made it work. The last part of it was the funding part, right? We're already finding the deals. We just wouldn't accept that many deals before, and it was a hotter market. Now the market has slowed down. So now we can flip 3 houses all in the DC metro area in Northern Virginia, right? We can, because the houses are sitting a little bit longer. But so all of those pieces had to fit. And then the last piece had to fit, right? Which is raising the capital. So with that being said, I focus a lot of my time on raising the capital. We have these processes in place that are getting the houses. We have the team on the acquisition side that's crushing it, that's doing really good on that. So we're getting the pipeline full of incoming deals. And I was focused on the capital raising side. So I had, this triple play and all these new things. I had created some ways for people to invest either their 401k or, self-directed IRA, something of that nature to try to bypass the banks with the high interest rates. So it's going after a lot of these different types of people, accredited investors, that kind of stuff, and spending a lot of time marketing to them and talking with them. And so, and getting in the right rooms with people who invest in these types of deals, right? Who maybe can get more than one deal at a time and help us do 3 deals at a time. And as a result, they are investing in certain things. So there's always a benefit to when you get in and out with some short terms, with some flips, right? Let's say these 3 properties is $1 million, right? Now we either raise a down payment on our loans or we raise the whole 1 million, right? Whichever way we choose to do it, we have an opportunity for people who are investing in other things, right? They could put their $1 million into multifamily and it would be stuck for 3 to 5 years, right? In that. And that's great. They'll probably get a lot of equity. They might make a really good amount. But in our situation, we're doing 3 flips per quarter. There's 4 quarters in a year. Let's say if someone put $100,000, right, in one property, right, as the down payment and some holding costs and construction costs, right? We're going to raise in 15%, right? We're going to give them like $10,000, right? A little more, 15,000, right? At 15%. 10 to 15, let's say, because sometimes it's 10%, sometimes it's 15. It just depends on the deal, what we have in it that allows us to do it. So let's say it's 15%, 15,000 on their $100,000 investment, right? Now they get to do this one time. We return it plus interest. We've sold that house. We're going to do it again the next quarter. We're going to do it again and again. So they take the same $100,000 and invest one time, get 15, invest a second time, get 15. So they've taken this same $100,000, 15, 30, 15, 30. They made $60,000 off their $100,000. So you see what I mean? It actually is a very safe and positive cash flowing investment. Now we don't always have new openings for people. We let people in periodically. What am I getting at here, right? So for these ones, we had somebody in our network of investors somewhere along the line who was going to do 2 of these deals themselves, right? And we do some due diligence, right? There's some small net worth, some small things that we do, right? And I'll be honest, I guess I know now that I could do more due diligence on people who are investing, but I guess I saw, that they were interested in the investment and we were doing 2. Long story short, this is about $700,000, right? One deal was like 300, one deal was like 400. So did some of the bank statements, investing statements. They were going to invest some other people's money, so they had some bank statements, all of that, right? Now, mind you, one of these houses is the one we're moving into. Another one is the one that a good friend of mine, a realtor, brought to the table too, in Winchester, Virginia, which is right in my backyard too, which is a good area to flip. So I had set these deals up, saw some bank statements, everything looked good there. They're going to invest in these. I haven't put much more time because I had an investor for each of these 2 properties, right? So I'm moving, keep going, looking at new properties, doing all the thing. I have these 2 properties ready to roll. There's already a note, a promissory note, right? On paper, all of that, right? So long story short, we get to the end of these 2 flips, right? We're closing them both. They're both closing the same day. I'm closing remotely from Brazil. We close one of them. The other one doesn't work. Something happens with some security questions or something that needed to happen. So that that went to another date. Now these are the closing dates. I mean, we have these dates set in stone. We're ready to, to move on them. These are good purchases. We're going to purchase them in a quick speed, because that's right. A lot of times with flipping houses, we're going to do a cash close. It's going to be quick. We're not going to do all that going back and forth on the inspection reports, all of that, right? It's going to be a fast close. Going to be straight cash, right? Done in a couple weeks. That's our value add, right? So what am I explaining here? What happens, right? It's going to blow your mind, truthfully. So one of them we're living in. We're in Brazil waiting for one of these houses to close so we're living rent-free right now, right? Because we have our house rented out, right? All these cool things that we're doing as an investor, right? All these cool things that I've set up. I've raised the money, right? We've celebrated. We're all excited, ready for the next frontier of 3 flips, right? We're raising hundreds of thousands of dollars in conversations at a time to be able to do this while giving value, because of just what I just explained. Somebody who does this a couple times throughout the year can maximize their same time, right? Their same $100,000 4 times throughout the year, right? So I think with our short-term setup and all of that, we have a good offering, right? That is very competitive to multifamily and some of the other things that are out there, because people invest and they're not going to get their money back for a while. So it's a good setup. I see why it pulls a lot of investors in. It is exciting. It is a good deal, a good value to them as well. And so all of these things are great. So the first house, it closes, and I get a call from the title company, and they say, now this is not the one we're living in. It's just a preliminary one to it. So they call and they say, hey, we're having some trouble with the investor's capital. Like he's not able to do a wire. He's not able to do this, not able to do that. And so I have an app that I can use. It's what are they, like an investing website, an investing investing website where you can set up an account and people can go invest there. It's like a investors portal is what it's called. So I have that. I didn't want to use it because it costs money. It's not you can do flips through like promissory notes and through deeds and stuff like that, through the relationship of the money that you're getting in the investment through a promissory note. Then that note can be secured to the property from a deed. So we don't need to have some like monthly report structure. That's more of like multifamily with the other type of investments that I'm talking about, where they're going to invest for 1 to 3 years. So they're going to see the equity, see these things. So I had built, I have these websites, but I don't use them for the flips, the quick flips. So he wanted to use that so we could do a ACH transaction. Well, we've already closed on this property. So if he doesn't wire the funds, like it's dead, it's gone, So I set up my investors portal so he can invest as like an ACH transaction. Now they call me a day or two later and they say like, something's up. This person's trying to invest all these little amounts from all these different bank accounts, and we're suspecting fraud in this investment. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And so they won't let it happen, and he can't send the money to the title company through a wire, through anything like that, because of just the place that it's all coming from. And looking back, like there were red flags. I talked to some people and they were like, whoa, somebody's investing $400,000, like, and then again, it just, and I feel dumb for it, but I didn't know, maybe just let the opportunity of somebody wanting to invest blind me to the fact of that somebody might try to invest fraudulent funds. I just couldn't even understand that was something that would happen. But I guess it's just like there's fraud and fake people everywhere and anywhere. But yeah, it seems crazy. But, one of these situations was my house that we're moving into, so I had to turn into somebody who was totally different than the person that I was, because I was not about to let myself and my family not have a place to live, because of my failure, because of something that I did, right? I didn't check enough. I took somebody at their word when I should have taken them, at their bank statement. I'm still understanding what and really how and why the situation happened. But long story short, it forced me to become somebody who is capable of having 3 deals about to close, right, of all different funding sources, and all of them at the closing table are dead, right? Essentially, I didn't close. I didn't do what I said I was going to do. They should have very well and could have very well have put them back on the market. But I called all 3 of them. I said, listen, I have relationships. I have other people, funding sources. I didn't have any of the down payments raised, right? None of them. And I didn't have the relationship with the funding partners, because the banks and the whatever funding source we were going to use. But I said, give me a few weeks. I know that I've held this property up long enough. I will make it happen. I will close on all 3 of these. Just give me a minute. I've never seen anything like this before, but they can't accept the money at title. So I will do whatever I have to do and make it happen. I told all 3 of these properties. I had no loans in place. I had no capital raised. I had nothing, right? Except that I've been talking to people. I've been in rooms where there's people investing, and I've been marketing, and I've been doing what I was told to do, putting out content on a regular basis, and all of the things that I was told to do. So when it came time to go call on my network, right? Because I had helped out, I had been talking, I had been doing these videos and doing all this stuff to help other people out, that when it came down, people knew me, right? The guy with the tattoos, the backwards hat guy, the guy in the wife beater, wow, I shouldn't say that. I don't know why we say that word. The muscle shirt, out there, talking about all this stuff that he knows about and does on a regular basis, and helping people out, providing value and content, all of that. But yeah, I trust that guy. If he's saying he's trying to get $100,000 for a loan to close next week, and get 15% on it, that he's going to do what he says he's going to do. And so, we got the loans in place because of of marketing to brokers. We got a no interest payment loan on all 3 of them. They all were set to close in 2 weeks. The only thing that was a little tough in these situations is we had to do $1,000 down payment on each one of them, plus $500 for the appraisal. So it was essentially $4,500 for all 3 of these to close, that I had to come up with on my own. And then another surprise of the embassy signing documents, which is where that video comes from, because I had just been fraudulently tricked, have nowhere to go. My family has nowhere to live at this point because of a mistake that I made, or that the universe put on me to force me to become this person that can go close 3 properties in 2 weeks, right? To go from having no capital raised to needing the money tomorrow, calling on my network, calling on everybody that's there, raising, $300,000 or $400,000 for all of these deals to go across the finish line. It just forced me to become this other version of myself that I didn't even know that I was capable of becoming. And had it not been the house and one of the houses that I was gonna live in, I may have just said, well, you know what? I'm not supposed to be the person that flips 3 houses at a time. I'm just supposed to be the one that flips 1. I'll just let the other 2 slide, and I'll go do this one myself, and we'll just flip the one that we're gonna live in, right? But I didn't, I didn't quit. I didn't give up. It was not easy. It came down to the last minute. I lost a lot of sleep. And that time that you see me celebrating at the embassy, I look sickly. I don't look good. I got very sick after that. I was very much drained emotionally, mentally, spiritually. I shed tears. I did cry on the beach looking at the sun coming up in the morning, out there praying, meditating. It did. It almost beat me. And I almost thought for a moment of time, like, is it worth it? Like, just give up on the other two. Just do one flip. Just, why are you doing this? Like, what is the point? What is, why continue this? And then I thought, I told these people that I would close their houses. Some asked for more earnest money, and I had to put that down, and I didn't just have millions of dollars in my bank account. Like I'm still in the first few years. So every dollar that's spent has to have a really good reason, right? And I often put all of my money back into investments and leave myself with not enough, but we have the bare minimum. We have exactly what we need. We put it all back into investing, and it's always panned out. It's always come back. It's always been exactly what needed to go into the property, exactly what needed to go into the down payments, and I know that in the long run, it's going to all pay off and it's going to all work out. But it beat me to a point, that I didn't know, but I know now was getting to a level, the next level, was getting to the next phase, the next person that I need to be, which is somebody that can go raise capital and do multiple projects and build and grow and do multifamily with sponsors and all of that. And after that happened, we put a 62 unit under contract, and it was time to go and time to move. And the way I'm looking at it now is, if one project is going on at a time and that project doesn't go well, or there's some timeline things that slip up and the capital doesn't come back, it's detrimental to a company. But if you're doing and you've succeeded on a few projects, right? You know the market, you know where you need to be, you know construction, you know code, you know all these things like we do. And like I've learned, because I was on the forefront of all my flips. I was learning. I was the one holding the hammer. I was hammering joists up. I was doing flooring. I was demoing. Like I was doing all of that. And it was all to teach me everything I needed to know about the whole process of flipping houses, structure, roof, right? All of those numbers, all of those code, everything that I had to know and learn, right? Now that I've been through it, it's time to go do 3 at a time, because the risk is actually not as big then if you have multiple projects going on at the same time. If one were to not hit the numbers that you needed, the other two are going to protect that. So it actually going bigger and having a bigger portfolio and having a bigger amount of projects that are coming in is actually less risky, because some hedge the other ones out, the winners hedge the losers out. And if you just won 1 out of 3 flips and made, let's say, 50,000, right, and lost 10 on one, lost 10 on the other, like you're still at a $30,000 positive, and you've done 3 at a time, so now you can go do it again. So the point is that it gets to be less risky when you look at it from a much bigger standpoint. More units is, the same amount of construction, but now each unit has $1 of cash flow, and now there's, a cash flow times 62, right? Or at the exponent of 62, right? For 62 units. So a bunch of doors at the same time means 2 projects win, 1 loses. You're still 100,000 up and a $10,000 loss, as opposed to 1 project and it loses. You're now negative $10,000. You have the investments that are continuing to go. So the point is, it was building me into something that I didn't know that I needed to be built into, but that was someone who does not see the challenge, the loss, and the obstacle for what it is. Somebody that looks right past it into what they're trying to win, they're trying to achieve, doesn't let anything of what reality looks like, but holds that vision of being the company that flips 3, of being the company that goes after 62 units, of being the company that can raise hundreds of thousands of dollars because we provide a great service and a great opportunity for people, and going after those things and winning at whatever cost, and not letting the challenges and the obstacles of things that seem like they're there to overcome that idea and belief of who we are and what we're capable of doing. So that video, when you see it, is because I almost got destroyed. I almost lost the house that I was going to move into because it was such a good flip. I almost lost 3 flips at a time and told 3 people that I would close and do what I said I was going to do, and didn't do it. You know, that was that person that almost lost, that had sleepless nights, that for 2 weeks had no idea how we was going to fund these 3 projects, had no idea that when the money didn't get sent in, what was going to happen or what he was going to do, and just rose to the occasion, rose to the challenge, right? To become a version of himself who was capable of doing whatever he had to do to complete these 3 projects, to win these 3. Not even to mention, I had to find contractors after that, all of these things, and they're all working out. I got an all-star contractor. She is awesome. We are working through it together. We're helping each other out. We're talking to each other. We're working through it. The capital that I raised was from some good relationships that are going to be long-term relationships, people who I'm going to help make a lot of money for and take great care of their money. So everything was for a reason, and it was all to get to this point here. But if you just watch that one video, you'd have no idea that what I had just been through, right, over those last few weeks, what I felt like, what I thought was going to happen. And I lost a lot of faith in myself and for the mistakes that I made. And I lost a lot of hope in my ability to do this thing and to continue. And I almost gave up. I almost gave in. I shed tears. I got sick. I got stressed out. I lost sleep, but I got up and I became who I was supposed to become. And I rose to the challenge. And I did it, and I made it work with the help of my family, my company, the support of all the people that work with us, with the contractors who I've given some great opportunities to as well, and with the people who trusted in us to invest with us. And the next phase is now a company that does 1 multifamily project every quarter, does 3 flips every quarter. And you all know the triple play, where we're going to buy 25 Class A properties over the course of this year too, in heavy growth areas and high growth and high equity areas, by using a bunch of capital that we raise from other people instead of going to the banks. And the benefit of that is that we not only give 30%, which is triple the average, but we give 3 options, 3 things, which is tax depreciation, monthly cash flow, and equity. So that option is super cool for people who are investing big, and that's an option for them. It's a heavy capital raise, but that's our new goal. That's our new business plan, and that's who we've become recently in the process of what just happened. So I'm going to keep putting content out. I'm going to keep crushing it, and I know that it's all going to come back and give me the life and the dream that I want to have, and that I'm willing to fight for and struggle for, to become the person who's capable of living that life and overcoming those challenges. So that's the story of what just happened. And the next videos will probably be about this 62 unit as we scale into multifamily and learn through the process of due diligence and what some of these numbers are and how some of this multifamily stuff works. Side note, we actually just got a 6-plex, which is another multifamily in Florida too. So we have one in Kentucky, 62 units, and we have a 6-unit in Florida that's more of like an 18-month, 2-year flip on that one. So more of an equity play than like a cash flow play. But so 2 cool multifamilies coming up that we'll walk you guys through as we walk through them ourselves. But don't give up, man. The challenges are just there to help you walk through them. Believe it. I'm telling you. I knew nothing of that and didn't believe that at times, but having walked through it, I now believe that it was there for a reason, to push me to the next level, what I'm supposed to be. So that's 2 videos here, telecom and then real estate. And the next one will be the Becoming podcast, to talk about this next phase of growth and how to become that next version of ourselves. So I'm Ryan McGough, coming at you from InteleCOM Investments, and thanks for your time. And like and subscribe if I've helped you out, please.